Yay!
Hello.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it.
Fabulous. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our fourth MbM live chats with our choirs. Tonight it is with ToC Voices, and we have members Maggie and Diana here. So myself, I'm Lucy. I'm project manager for the virtual Christmas concert, and Emily, the founder and director of Motivation by Music, will be giving some questions and sparking some conversation with these two lovely ladies to talk a bit about the story of Topic of Cancer, ToC Voices, a choir that is one of Emily's choirs, but it's also a charity-based choir. So over to you, Emily.
Awesome. So fantastic. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Maggie, Diana, I'm so excited that you're joining us for this edition of MbM live chats, which is awesome. I see both of you are wearing your choir t-shirts. I'm wearing our VCC t-shirt. Got to show the back as well, which is real exciting. So Maggie and Diana are both members of ToC Voices. I would say kind of founding members, but we'll talk about when you guys joined and what that story is. But the choir does have a history. So I just want to give you a little bit of context before we dive in. So ToC Voices was previously under a different name and funded by a different charity. Funding ran out and the charity had to withdraw and move out of the project, but members refused to see the choir fold. They sought out a new funder and a new choir leader, and then birthed the partnership between Topic of Cancer and Motivation by Music, and ToC Voices was officially launched in May 2018. So there's a whole story behind all of that, right? I was living just up the road, and there was a grueling auditioning process and all of that, but we made it, and they chose me to be their choir leader, which I'm so thankful for, and it's been an incredible journey since then, and that's what we're going to find out a little bit more about that from Maggie and Diana.
Amazing. So Maggie, it must have been such a relief, however many months, you know, it finally took to secure the funding and obviously have a new choir leader. How did it feel?
Well, when we knew that the funding was ended, it was absolutely devastating, I have to say. I think Diana would agree. We were all rocked, you know, and we really, really didn't want the choir to not continue. And we were fortunate that a couple of the choir members knew somebody at Topic of Cancer, and they approached Nigel, it was at the time, who was the chairman, who quickly just said yes to funding us. And we set about recruiting a new choir leader, and it was grueling, wasn't it, Emily? I have to say. And but I think I was part of that process, but not at the very end. But I think one of the things I say about Emily, we did a last concert with the previous charity, and she came along to watch it, and she was so desperate to have us. You know, she was so wanted to do it. And I just thought, this has got to be. And as I say, I wasn't there as soon, but she got through, and we were just insanely happy, really. It was just really good. Yeah, we picked up and went on. It was amazing.
That's so nice. Yeah, so good. Diana, what kept you coming to the choir after it all changed? Why not just be done with it, you know, when the choir faced closure and seemed like it wasn't going to carry on?
Well, I think Maggie will probably agree. We're quite a determined bunch, very individual but determined as a whole group, and it was just such fun going to choir. It was like a party every Monday night, fun, friends and music, and to think that the alternative would be nothing or join a different choir, or the other alternative was there's four of us and our close that all go together, and the thought of spending an hour going round and round in a circle singing karaoke was just horrendous. I mean, they're lovely people and we can all sing, but much rather be in a large group
No,
like ToC Voices.
that totally makes sense. Yeah, totally.
Brilliant. So ToC Voices as a choir is for people whose lives have been touched by cancer in some way. So what has it meant to you personally, Maggie, to be part of such a special group?
Well, it's been enormous, really, because I was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2016, if I remember correctly, and I underwent surgery, major surgery, to remove my right lung. And then I had to have a grueling course of chemotherapy, which many of our members have also experienced. So it kind of changed my life quite abruptly. And I was looking at alternative ways of living. I always wanted to sing in a choir, and I tried a couple of choirs, but it just didn't click with me. This was prior to my cancer diagnosis. And then particularly because I had only one lung, I had to look at ways to enhance the performance of that good lung and the muscles in my diaphragm. And I came across this, the cancer choir, because I belong to another cancer group where we just met and chat. And the charity had contacted them, and off I went. And I can't tell, well, going through a cancer experience, it takes an awful lot away from you, but it also gives you a lot. It opens a whole different way of life. And, you lose confidence, you've lost physical abilities, you've lost, you're emotionally shot to blazes and things like that. And it's very difficult to pick yourself up and go. So I finished the chemotherapy in the April, and I think it was about September that I took myself off to the choir. And I walked in through the door, and it was just amazing. I mean, people just came to me, and there's just this, you don't have to talk about your cancer, you don't have to say anything, but there's just this unspoken, tangible feeling that those people know what you've been through and what you're going through now. And it was just so invaluable to me, I can't tell you. I actually met somebody else who experienced the same cancer as me, which I hadn't been able to talk to anybody that was further along the line to me or anything like that. I mean, everybody's experience is individual, but I would think that most of us would say, yeah, we've been there, done that. And it was, and as Diana says, it was just an opportunity to go and have fun and people, and be loved by people. There was a lot of love in the room, I have to say, and care and compassion because of the knowledge of that you've been through something traumatic, And of course, as we've gone on, it's made an enormous physiological difference to me. I mean, my left lung now is running at 90% capacity. I've got probably better oxygenation levels than people with two lungs, And I know my diaphragm works well because I do all the exercises with Emily, And so massively, massively important to me in all areas of my development after a cancer diagnosis. I can't tell you, And I've stuck with it, and I'm passionate, and I would love to see singing in a choir like this be part of complementary therapy for people who have experienced this, because there has been research. The previous charity had done research with the Royal College of Music, which has papers now to say that there is a proven scientific proof that your immune system is boosted enormously by 1 hour singing a week.
Yeah.
And that you can't deny that. So, and it's such a fun way. It's not like I couldn't take it. I can take exercise, but it was more difficult at that time because I was still recovering. But it's just different from physical exercise, like as we all know it, in the gym or walking or all of that. And it's so communal, and it's just amazing. So,
it was amazing. We went and delivered a like taster session at a hospital, and Maggie came along to kind of support me in that. And I remember we were doing something where we just kind of take a big breath and sing for as long as we possibly can. And Maggie, I finished singing, I completely ran out of breath, and people around the room start finishing, and then Maggie's there going, ah! It's like, what? And after knowing that actually what she'd been through, and yeah, having one lung, I was blown away. And she said, cool, well this singing Milan sure makes a difference. And I thought, absolutely amazing. I love that, Maggie. Thank you so much for sharing. What about you, Diana? What has it meant to you personally being part of such an amazing group?
Well, I've had cancer and overcome that, but the group is just as Maggie said, you know, they're phenomenal. Can't spell it, but I can say it. You don't have to say anything when you go there. People know when you're feeling down, and you just go and sing, and all your troubles go just for that 1 hour, and it makes such a difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It is so important to have like a like sacred place, a space that you where you don't, like you say, there's no pressure for you to be anybody or do anything, but everyone there also shares those experiences, knows what you need, you know, whether it is just to sit next to you, just to hear you out, or vice versa. It's wonderful. It's so good, and it's so precious to actually hear your stories, because a lot of the time, you know, you're putting on these amazing performances and we saw these smiley faces, but to actually hear your stories, I think, is incredible. And I think it's really important for people who don't know that side of ToC. Which is so good. So during the course of your time with Emily and as ToC Voices, Maggie, what has been your standout moment? And is there, you know, like a special rehearsal or, you know, memorable performance, something that stands out for you?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I love all the performances that we've done, but I tell you, there was a light bulb moment for me, and I haven't really spoken about this before, but it was when we were in our first rehearsal venue in the church at St. John's in Onslow Village, and it was Emily, I know, didn't really like that place because we had all pews in front of us and we all were strung along like this, you know. And we would all go, and previously, you know, you go along to choir, you have a sing and you have a chat to people and you come away. Not a lot of analysis going into what you're doing because it's so double-pronged, our choir, you know, it's this massive need or massive group of supportive, loving people plus singers, you know, and how you want to do it. Anyway, one evening she took us off. She got us all out of the seats because we used to sit next to the same people and all that kind of thing, and put us in this little alcovey area. Do you remember where we used to? And did this thing where she split us. We either split our parts, so we all stood in different places, not with altos, not with sopranos. And I can't remember what we sung, whether it was Yellow or Go Down Moses or something. Oh my word! It sounded beautiful, and I mean, it was just how it was a whole new concept of what we were about, and actually listening to each other and fitting in with each other and hearing the harmonies, and it sounded. And I thought, actually, we could be really quite good here, and I'm after stardom, you know. So that was that for me, and I just kind of then thought. I thought we're going to be good singers with this girl. We're going to be good, and we are. And I think that for me sort of moved it into a new concept, as well as everything I was getting from it support-wise. I thought I'm actually going to really, really enjoy developing my voice now and singing.
Yeah. I want to say there that actually, often I think, you know, maybe there's some people watching that that don't really, they're like, I'm not really into choirs, I don't really watch that or whatever. but there's professional choirs and then there's community choirs. And I think a lot of people think, oh yeah, you got like the Kingdom Choir and like professionals that are sounding awesome. And then there's like community choirs that kind of have a little sing song together. And the standard of our community choirs is unbelievable. I do really believe in excellence, and I do really believe that just because you're a community choir doesn't mean you don't have to sing well or sound good together. But what the amazing thing that happens when you get a bunch of people together that don't think they can sing, and you spend time getting to know one another, building that community, feeling comfortable, stepping out of your comfort zone, learning new repertoire and challenging yourselves, the result is an incredible sound. And when I was editing each of the audio, so every individual member recorded their voices for the virtual Christmas concert, and I'm the lucky person that got to hear every individual voice and mix it all together. ToC Voices sounded phenomenal, like so good. And and I always sit there thinking, this is a bunch of people that pretty much think I can't sing and no, I couldn't possibly do that, and yet the sound that we're producing is of such a high standard. So I'm really excited for all of you guys out there to hear these guys sing, because they're incredible. They're amazing. They've learned so much over these, and I'm so proud of them.
Yes.
I think we have to reiterate by saying we're really proud. We're proud of you, and I'm proud of myself. For you, Diana, I feel really great in how far we've come now.
I think it's been amazing. I mean, Emily is absolutely brilliant, and there's the spring of life keeps going round and round in my head, Emily. I'm thankful for you and ToC and MbM and my family, and those words that you wrote were amazing for Spring of Life.
Thank you.
Is there a standout performance for you, or a rehearsal or something, a moment that really stood out for you?
There's a lot really, but I suppose walking into G Live, where Marty Pello's been, and James Blunt, and then we got ToC Choir, the Chippendales, the Dream Boys, ToC Choir, ToC Voices were there, and with the for the NHS 70th birthday, that was amazing.
It was.
And also I think for you, for your choir specifically, like such a wonderful way to kind of thank those who might have, been there through your journeys as well, by celebrating the NHS.
I did do a bit of work for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you used to work for the NHS, didn't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I was going to say the other one was Guildford Station, when I thought we'd get cold, but the energy and the warmth from all of us just kept us all warm singing at the station.
That was the BBC Music Day or something.
Music Day.
That was awesome. So both of those events that Diana's spoken about was kind of ToC Voices joining with other choirs in MbM, and the NHS that was the first performance that we did, and it was like right at the beginning. You had to learn 4 original songs in 6 weeks and go straight into performing at G Live. So what a way to kick off ToC Voices. That was amazing. So Maggie, you alluded to the fact that maybe we've had a few different homes as I looked through our history, and over 2.5 years we've had 4 different homes as ToC Voices. We started at All Saints at the church in Onslow Village, moved over to like the community Scouts Hut Hall near the Lido in Guildford. Then we moved to the Cricket Pavilion at the centre of Guildford, like woo! And then we've been living life on Zoom. So 4 different homes. Maggie, how has each home, do you think, provided an opportunity for the choir to develop and grow in new ways?
Well, I mean, when we met at the church, I mean, it was lovely in there, and we were really grateful to the people who provided that for us, because obviously we're run by a charity and we don't have huge amounts of money to pay for venues and things. But it was slightly restrictive. I mean, we hadn't noticed it quite so much, but when Emily came along, it became quite obvious that it wasn't the best place to be doing a choir, because we had these rigid pews that you couldn't move, and they were quite narrow, and you couldn't move about, and there was no freedom, and there was big gaps in between sets of pews and things. And so we sought to find somewhere else that we could afford, and we went to the Ark, wasn't it? The Ark in Guildford. And that was like a great big kind of scouts hut type place. It was quite nice inside. It was very bright. And I think what we liked there was it was spacious, and we had an airy and light, and we hadn't had that experience. And we could we had individual chairs, so we could set them however we wanted, which meant Emily could use different configurations if she wanted to. We seemed to be able to socialise better in there as well, I think, because there was mingling space, and there was, I don't know, it just felt much more open and airy. We used to have problems when it was either too hot or too cold or whatever, but that was okay. And then we came across, I think you found it, didn't you, Emily, the cricket pavilion. Well, that was, and that by then we were growing and growing and growing, and we'd gotten some new members, and we were sounding really good, and we were on this journey of, you know, come on, we're going to be this great choir. And so I went along with Emily, or I went along and had a look at the pavilion because Emily suggested it. And I just think there it was just kind of super duper, and it was like a state of the art kind of place, really. And I think I said to Emily at the time, I said, this is a whole different ball game, because this adds value to us, you know, and it will make people feel that they really are something quite good, because we're going to have this really super rehearsal space. And I think it did, you know. And again, it was spacious and open. We need good parking access, because lots of people have got disabilities and things like that. We have to look out for all that kind of thing. And it was all there, really, but it was a bit short-lived, obviously, because we've then gone into the Zoom. But, you know, Zoom has offered us something completely different, and but not worse, but better. You know, much of it has been better, because I think we've said all this before, but I think it's given everybody an opportunity to do some personal development around this thing, which I thought it was going to be a bit crazy. Everyone was off it at first, quite honestly, because we're like, oh, this isn't as good as, you know, but it you know, us older ones who are a bit techie dinosaur-y, it's just funny how connected you still feel. Even more so, because we can actually see everybody. When you're sitting in choir, you're only really aware of the people either side of you or in front of you. You probably wouldn't talk to the person down the other end of the row or whatever. And it's brought us together even more so, I think. And it doesn't feel, it just feels the same, really, which it shouldn't it? But, and I think, you know, but because Emily added this, you know, the extra dimension of us doing recordings and all that. I mean, there's loads of people who would never have dreamt of singing solo anywhere in the world. No way. And there's people piping up now going, I'll do it, I'll sing. And we've recorded ourselves singing, and it's given us such boosted our confidence, you know. It's just amazing stuff, you know. And I think, you know, not if and when we ever come back together, I think you're going to be surprised at how good we are, Emily. I think.
Yeah, Emily has actually been saying that.
Yeah. Amazing.
The transformation, you know, from before we went on, you know, full choirs went online, to if and when, you know, we're in person again, I think there'll be a very evident, and it'd be wonderful to see how everyone's kind of grown and the different aspects that choir actually brings, because I think that's one thing people miss quite a lot. They think you know, you come to a choir to sing, which is true to an extent, but actually choirs bring so much more, which I think is so important. For you, Diana, how was going online? You know, at the beginning of lockdown, everything's a bit scary. How did you find that?
Well, I had to get a new tablet and then decided that I couldn't see everybody on the tablet, so I had to resurrect the old laptop. So that took like 2 days to try and work out. You know, I hadn't used it for 4 years and everything. But no, it's useful, and well, it's more than useful. It's kept us all connected.
Yeah.
And I think, as you said, Maggie, we've developed more and got to know perhaps a bit more about each other, because Emily's been brilliant. She's done quizzes and get to know you times, and it's helped immensely, especially for those of us that are shielding. You know, on a Monday evening is, you know, can be a bit drab, but it's great. You know, put your pajamas on at 6 o'clock, go down and turn old Zoom on, and that's you done for the evening. You know, it's great fun.
Yeah, I did think to myself, I think if somebody told me now that I've got to get dressed up and get in my car and drive out in the dark to rehearsal, I might think twice.
You know, especially in your pajamas.
Yeah.
I love what you've kind of, I think, Maggie, you said a bit about it, of like, I think what we're all learning to appreciate and have a perspective on is that, you know, cancer can take so much from you, like you've kind of said, Maggie, and can really rob you of a lot and really and take a lot away, but can also, coming out the other side of that, gain such a wealth in your life of connection and perspective and new friends and communities that you may never have kind of known or understood before, and new appreciation for life and what's valuable in life. And you know, and I think the same is of the pandemic for like us as a whole world, as a nation, as a town, whatever it might be, that actually so much has been taken from us, and yet we have gained so much. You know, the perspective, the understanding, the new connections, the experience of using your voice and developing your voice in a way you never thought possible before. And I think that's a really, really beautiful perspective and understanding to have, that while so much has been robbed, so much has been gained as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's been great.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's just so wonderful, like I said before, to hear, you know, it from your perspective. And I think there are, you know, going forwards, however it turns out, whether, you know, we can meet together in a month's time, or, you know, it's a few more months, or whatever it looks like, I think actually celebrating the fact that right now what you get to do and what you're a part of is thriving. It's
definitely
offering those same really vital benefits that you were getting before, the support, you know, the health benefits from actually singing and boosting your immune system, the social aspects, you know, if you're shielding, if you can't leave your house, you know, getting to see all your friends on Zoom. It's just I want to say that to anybody who thinks it's not for me. Actually, maybe give it a go.
Definitely. You know?
Definitely.
You don't know what you're missing.
Well, let's finish with directing to those that are watching this live, those that are going to watch it back. You know, cancer has impacted and hit so many people across the whole world, right? But there must be so many people that are sat there thinking, I've never even thought about joining a choir. I've never thought that it had any benefits, or I didn't know that there was one locally to me. Well, hello, you can access us from all around the world now. Diana, what would you say to someone who sat there thinking that hasn't ever really thought about joining a choir before? What would you say to them?
Go give it a go. You know, it's great fun. It boosts your immune system, improves your memory, improves your social life, makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Yes,
Yeah, amazing. And you, Maggie, what would you say to someone?
Well, yeah, so definitely give it a go. I mean, just come, and particularly on Zoom, I'd like to say to everybody out there now, anybody who's even in treatment and you feel a bit rubbish, you know, you can come in and have a little go and look. And I think that's what's so nice, that we can, on Zoom, we can outreach to anywhere in the world or in the country, and just come on in and give it a taste and see what it's like. It's just great. And I mean, I think as well, Lucy, Emily as a choir leader is just gives us that right amount of challenge and that right amount of keeps us engaged. And when when you're actually doing the learning with her in rehearsals, you can't think of anything else. It just goes, and you have to just focus. And she's so, you know, she just draws you in, gets you going, keeps you going, and you just come out and you've had this breath of relief and you know, stress relief, a breather, and you've smiled and you've laughed, and it's an absolute tonic.
Yeah. The other great thing about Zoom is you can, if you're just feeling pretty rough and, you know, you can just switch your video off. So do you know what I mean? Like I think we all have those times as well, especially if you're going through treatment or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we all have that time where it's just, I'm feeling rough, but I could really do with a pick me up. Instead of, you know, all of the other options that you could choose, you could just tune into choir, keep your video off if you want to, or if you feel more comfortable doing that, and just join in. It's the best kind of therapy, and as you said, like tonic, and it's brilliant and way better than a lot of the things on TV as well. So you may as well watch a live choir rehearsing, you know.
And you sleep better after it as well.
And we're still a very welcoming bunch. I mean, we're still able to welcome people on Zoom and say hiya and get to know you and all of those things. It's a very, very, you know, welcoming and embracing community. We are.
Yeah.
We are.
It has been such a pleasure to talk to you both. I just can't stop smiling. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as it's quite obvious because we've got lovely t-shirts and all the rest of it, but Topic of Cancer is the charity who supports ToC Voices, and they are one of our chosen charities, a lot of C's, chosen charities for the virtual choir concert. I feel like I'm in an elocution lesson. So we have set up 2 Just Giving pages to for our fundraising, and the links are pretty much everywhere, but we will probably put them down below as well on this video. And Thursday, we will be talking to members from the Parkinson Voices Choir, our other charity choir who are supported by Parkinson's UK, Guildford and South Surrey. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again to Maggie and Diana. Thank you, Em, as always, fabulous. And we will see you again on Thursday. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.